Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Stargirl Society, the podcast that inspires you to reclaim your power and start living the life of your dreams. I'm your host, Phoebe Goldsmith, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to stop being a doormat. Being a doormat, being a pushover, being a people pleaser is ruining your self-esteem. It's ruining your trust in yourself. Trust in yourself, especially as a woman, is so sacred. To be a doormat, to be easily influenced, is self-abandonment. It's to live life for others instead of living your life for you. Ask yourself this: do you have your own morals? Do you have your own opinions? Or is every single thing you think about yourself, other people, and life based off of what other people think? When we agree with others for the sake of agreeing with others, you are hiding from yourself. You can no longer see yourself and the beauty and the uniqueness that you possess, and how this is actually your tool to becoming the most successful version of you. If you want to find out how to fix this in your life, then keep watching. If you like today's episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow if you're over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you like content like this, then you can follow my Instagram at Stargirl Society Pod and my TikTok at Phoebe Goldsmith, all of which is linked in the description box. When it comes to being a doormat, the first thing that you need to tackle is healing the core of why you act like this, understanding why you act like this. You have to understand that there is nobody on this earth that you are less important than, even in your worst and lowest states. For some people, being a pushover is how they feel worthy. That being at people's beck and call, constantly being in service to people, is how you are worthy. But at the end of the day, you cannot spend your one and only life on this planet slaving away emotionally for other people. A hard truth that not a lot of people want to face is that when you decide to stop being a pushover, when you decide to stop people pleasing and stop being a doormat, you will become unlikable. People will like you less. And that is a sign that you are on the right track, because being easygoing all the time will eventually cost you your self-respect. And in reality, all the people that you think are super sweet and super kind, would never hurt a fly, these people are often wanting to break free and have some fucking boundaries in their life. At the core of being a pushover is a fear that if you inflict your boundaries upon other people, that you're going to be abandoned, that you're not going to be liked anymore. And I cannot even promise you that you won't be, but you do not need people in your life that the moment you set a boundary, the moment you do something for yourself, you get abandoned by them. It's a blessing if you lose these people along the way. I truly believe that women fear boundaries the most, because as women, we fear that if we set boundaries, that if we put our foot down, that we will be called bossy, too much. And it almost feels like as a woman, sometimes you have to act like a man, to be manlike, to be dogmatic and be dominant in order to be heard. And we don't want to be perceived in that way. We shouldn't have to be perceived in that way. But let me tell you, you can be kind and sweet and loving and feminine and tap into your feminine energy and still be respected, still have self-respect. So let's get into how. First of all, friendship should not feel like emotional labor. You need to get new friends. If you are always the listener, always the supporter, but never the one being supported, then I'm afraid people are walking all over you. You need friends that pour into your cup in the same way that you invest your time and energy into them. Life gets tough, yes, but should your friendships feel difficult, feel draining, feeling like you're talking to a brick wall? No. They absolutely shouldn't. Changing the people you surround yourself with the most is the first step to finding your newfound power within to stop being a doormat. I think when it comes to whether or not you should cut a friend off or something, I think it comes down to forgiving mistakes, not patterns of behavior. No one's perfect. Your friends are going to make mistakes. Everybody does. But if somebody is consistently showing you that they take advantage of what you have and never, ever, ever give back, they know what they're doing. Sorry, but they do. Whether it's conscious or subconscious, they know exactly what they are doing. And there's only so long this can go on for before your own self-respect and your self-esteem will suffer as a result. I think a lot of the time people stay in friendships that aren't serving them because they feel valued by being the dependable friend. I'm here to tell you that you don't owe anyone you being dependable. Please stop walking around like you are in debt. to everyone in your life and you always need to be there. And it comes down to you not feeling worthy when you're not depended on. But who are you depending on? Who is there for you when you need somebody? Be the reachable friend. Be the friend that would do absolutely anything for their friend, by all means. But stop tying your worth in that and stop doing that, for the love of God, for people that do not do it for you in return. An amazing tip that I have to stop being a doormat, stop being a pushover, is to stop over explaining. The moment you start over explaining your decisions, your emotions, the way you feel, you give all your power away, and you give power to somebody else's opinion of you and what you do over your own. To stop over explaining, start with simple things. Instead of a whole long thing, I'm so sorry, I can't do this because X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. You need to say, I can't do that. Sorry, I can't do that. It's not a bad thing to not want to be a flake. I don't want to be a flake, and I'm glad, because I'm not always letting people down like some people do. But you cannot care more about the way they are perceiving you and your decisions and what you're doing than your actual well-being. The moment you over-explain yourself, you are just reinforcing a lack of trust in yourself and your decisions. Keep it short, keep it cute, and you will keep feeding the idea to your brain that you are capable of making good decisions for yourself, that you trust your intuition, that you trust everything you think and do. Another thing that you can do is start using I statements. This is a great way to make sure that you are always speaking your truth. If you don't want to do something, and in your explanation of that, it's always like, I know you want to do this, and I know that you'll feel good about doing this, and I don't want to upset you. You need to stop that, flip it around and say, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm sorry, but that's not something I want to do. Bring back the power to yourself. Once again, this isn't about becoming a ruthless, hard, stiff, unapologetic person. I am sorry when I cancel plans, but I have felt so much more free in my own truth when I say, I'm really sorry I'm not going to be able to see you. I would have loved to spend time with you, but I am not feeling good today. I'm not feeling good mentally, or whatever the case may be. You have to stand strong in that. Also, you absolutely need to understand that when you decide to stop being a people pleaser, it is going to feel extremely uncomfortable, and every ounce of your being is going to try and get you to stop. You have to anticipate discomfort. Just because your nervous system is panicking, that doesn't mean it's a sign that what you're doing is wrong. When you decide to break a cycle in your life, your mind, your body, your nervous system is going to be like, what the hell is going on? Because that is all it has ever known. Why would it not react like that? Why would your nervous system not freak out when you're feeding it a new cycle, a healthy cycle? Of course it's going to. So when you begin setting boundaries in your life, be sure to sit with the negative feeling, the feeling that you're no longer good enough because you cancelled on someone or you put yourself first. You have to go through that in order to get to the other side and become empowered in your decisions. Don't go back later and follow up with the, oh, I'm sorry this, I'm sorry that. You simply must push through the discomfort in order to stop being a people pleaser. Furthermore, you have to let people react badly. Like I said, when you decide to set boundaries, some people in your life are not going to like you anymore. Something I saw that I love is that other people's reactions to your decision is not an emergency. As a doormat, you are going to immediately almost go into fight or flight emotionally when you upset someone to try and fix it. If you are a fixer, if you learned that love is conditional, that is going to be your immediate reaction. Their reaction is theirs, and it is not an emergency. Your job is not to fix the reactions of other people, especially when you're putting a positive boundary into your life. And the more you do this, the more you will become so confident in yourself and realize that actually, yes, I may upset some people by my boundaries, but when do you start to realize how much happier you become by having them in the first place? It's a bit of a trade-off, and you're kind of like, well, if I can have one without the other, I would rather have myself and my confidence and my boundaries and all this incredible energy that I've built up for myself than have someone be happy with me. And it comes with time and it comes with practice. I wanted to touch on being doormat, being a people pleaser when it comes to family relationships, because I think this is probably one of the most common hotspots for these kind of interactions. When it comes to breaking the cycle of your family, it is about letting go of the that's just how they are mindset. There is nothing worse to me than when someone says, oh, but you can't feel that way because that's your parent. You can't feel that way because that's your family member. If they're my parent or my family member, that is even more of a reason to be disappointed in their decision, in the way that they treat me. Sorry, but equally, do not try and change these people. It is about finding the happy medium of letting them be who they are, but also realizing that it's not your job to change them. Within a family unit, there are so many of us that are the peacekeeper or the fixer. But newsflash, you are allowed to break the cycle. You are allowed to evolve. You don't have to cut people off or walk away, but you also don't have to let them treat you like that. You get to a certain point where you're just like, this is the way you are and you're never going to change. I'm not going to change you anymore. And everything you say, I'm just simply not even going to absorb it anymore. Like you will always love these people and you can't change that. You have to just disengage with the type of person that they are. Accept it, but don't absorb it because it has nothing to do with you. It was never anything to do with you. You can't stop being a doormat externally if you are a doormat internally to yourself. Self-respect 100% starts in private. It starts with the way that you speak to yourself, the trust you build with yourself. Please stop gaslighting yourself. Stop telling yourself it's not that deep. Stop speaking down on yourself. Stop telling yourself that you're being dramatic. If you're minimizing your own feelings to yourself, you are always going to be a doormat. People are always going to walk all over you. You're not overthinking. You're not being dramatic. You don't need some crazy reason to be upset with someone. You don't need some dramatic reason to feel uncomfortable. You just do. If something is affecting your peace, it is relevant and you should not dismiss it. If you are a chronic people pleaser and you don't know where to start and how to get your head above the water, then you need to start building trust with yourself with small promises. When you do what you say you are going to do, especially in private when no one's watching, leaving an event when you told yourself that you would, resting when you need to rest, not responding when you don't want to respond to people. If you keep yourself one promise a day, one promise a week, even, the sacred trust that you have in yourself will increase and you will start to see there is a light at the end of the tunnel in the people-pleasing world. I think what it all comes back to as well is redefining what it means to be a nice person, because you do not have to bend over backwards for people to be a nice person. A massive problem that people have is confusing being a nice person with abandoning themselves. You can be nice and still have boundaries. You have to ask yourself, where in life are you being nice instead of being honest? If you are hurting yourself by being nice to somebody else, that is where you need a boundary. You have to start seeing being a nice person as being an honest person. Honest with other people, honest with yourself. To be a nice person is to pour into yourself. It's to set boundaries so you can be the best version of you for other people. Being a nice person has become far too much about the way you treat others and not the way you treat yourself. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see from me. You can follow and leave us a review if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And you can follow my Instagram and TikTok, which are both linked in the description box. I love you guys so, so much, and I'll see you next week for another episode.